Josh Rosenberg. Rita.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. It is Andy and I. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into this whole idea that Andy came up with. I have to give him credit of expanders and solvers, and I promise we'll explain more what that means. But I feel like it'd be fun to just talk about something random because Andy and I do have the most fun random conversations before we actually start the live. If only you guys were listening, but I'm also glad you're not at the same time. So, Andy, what are you doing this weekend? Share with the people.
My brother's coming into town this evening from
Awesome.
Boston. He hasn't been able to come here in a couple years because he's a doctor and he wasn't allowed to leave the hospital or Massachusetts. So it's going to be really fun. I've got a bougie coffee shop lined up every single day. He's a big coffee guy, and he gets to meet a lot of my clients and working with us on Tuesday. So that'll be fun. What about you?
Yeah, I can't wait to meet him. I'm excited for that. God, what about me? I am kind of lame. I'm working a bit this weekend because things are a little busy. But otherwise, seeing friends, acting like I'm, a 6-year-old woman and going to yoga and getting coffee with my girlfriends.
Right. Which you
Exactly.
can't see on the camera that Abby's also, what, 7.5 months pregnant.
Yeah, I think we're at
But
8 months now.
8 months is
So,
totally fine. But
yeah, there's the
one,
announcement if you didn't know. So,
I guess probably another good thing to talk about is this week we recorded a course for one of our clients. It's something we don't talk about a ton, but online courses are just really going crazy. And we interview so many people on this live stream, and we have so many Foundress clients that are authors, coaches, speakers, people who want to have evergreen products. And online education is supposed to be $1 trillion business by the end of this decade. And that's insane. I
wild.
mean, that's the size of Apple, uh, which is odd. But for all of you out there that are thinking about doing a course, it might be something to look into. And maybe that's a solver that we can connect you with. Like that?
I like it.
Smooth
Yeah.
transition.
I mean, we had a lot of fun. We recorded like most of the day Wednesday with our friend Jordan. You guys have seen him on the live stream if you've been watching. And if you haven't, go back to his episode, Jordan White. And he helps people, get more into their leadership style, be more confident. I'm excited about his course. So, yeah, Andy and I have random skills that you might not know about. One of those is create courses. So if you have questions about that, because it seems like literally everyone should have a course or does have a course these days.
And there's this whole ecosystem where you can't just be an author anymore or a coach anymore. You have to be a coach and have a book and have a course. So whatever whatever order of those three you go in, and then you have to do events and retreats. So whatever order of those five you go in, you kind of just
Yeah.
make the loop. But same thing. You need to meet people that know about venues, meet people that know about licensing, meet people that know about filming and editing and publishing courses. And so that's one of the big things that we're talking about today. And one of the large components of Founderist is getting access to people that do things that you don't, and how to enhance your business by having people that are either experienced in as an advisor or a mentor or as the actual practitioner that does the things. If you've ever made a podcast and edited your own episodes, it sucks. And so or if you've ever done your own taxes, I mean, let's be honest. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about today, that goes further into our philosophy behind our business. The last time it was Abby and I 2 weeks ago, which seems like forever ago, we talked about the misconception of people thinking when you hire a business matchmaker, because I can't say that we've invented this, but it's pretty young.
We can't
Hire
really find anyone else doing it. So we might have
We
invented
could probably just say we invented it.
it.
But hiring a business matchmaker isn't the same thing as hiring a virtual lead generator. You probably get 1,000 of those emails on LinkedIn if you're like me, and people want to do spam emails, or they want to do cold calling, or they want to do call centers. Like, this isn't a super cheap one price alternative to having a sales team. It is introducing you to people who can be problem solvers or catalysts for your business. So when you join our community, we hope to connect you with referrals if we have them. We hope to become, one team, one dream family. But there are two broad components that we really work in. On one side, we call them expanders. The other side, we call them solvers. And we kind of continue to reiterate this, especially as our live stream program grows in viewers. We encourage you to go back and watch all of the old ones. But as we evolve as a business and as a community, we kind of are getting more into the details of exactly how we can most effectively help our clients.
Oh, totally. And I'm glad we got like some cool names to put with it because we're just like, who can we connect you with? But now we kind of, with all of our clients, coach them through figuring out who is a good expander, who is a good solver, because a lot of the times you don't really know. And, we were kind of joking before we got on here. I'm doing a talk later today kind of on this subject. So this is a little bit like our run through of like how to identify your expanders and also how to get rid of the connections in terms of business in your life that aren't serving you. I'm sure that if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, someone comes to mind when you know someone who maybe never sent you referrals, still doesn't understand your business, or maybe just sends you the crappiest email introductions ever. So our whole goal is, you develop these deeper, more meaningful connections with these expander types of people and even with the solver types of people. And great things are going to come and hopefully explode your business if that's what you want, or minorly explode it if that's what you want as well. So Andy kind of touched on the solver idea, how it's someone who is solving a problem. Pretty self-explanatory. Like you're like, I need a new accountant. I can't use TurboTax anymore. Something along those lines. Or maybe you need a new website. You're like, hey, Andy, I heard you did that. So you get a new website.
I think it's also important to talk about solvers being specialized because
Yeah.
whenever we talk about business matchmaking, unfortunately, we seem to pick on insurance and real estate people because when you go to in-person networking events, usually more than half the people are one of those local centric kind of services. But a really great example is if you find yourself looking for something specific, like when I used to own a brewery and I wanted to get a new space for our production facility, I needed a commercial real estate person to show me places. Like you can't see as many commercial spaces online as you can through the MLS network and through an agent. But I needed somebody who had worked with alcohol businesses before, who was versed in the code and in the power and in the drainage and in places that were ready made for food products. So meeting someone who was not just like, I'm going to Google commercial real estate people and get a billion of them, meeting someone who has worked in my industry before is a very specific example of a solver. So if I went to another brewery and said, hey, who helped you find this space? Do you know someone who is familiar with all of the regulations around food service businesses? That's a massive solver for me. That saved me a ton of time, a ton of spam, a ton of weird events. And we love real estate people, but you definitely want to meet the one that applies to you. And the same thing goes for insurance people or any kind of service thing. Abby mentioned if you need an accountant, but a lot of people want to hire a virtual assistant. And there's a ton of agencies that do it, but there's a lot of bad ones and there's a lot of predatory ones and there's a lot of variance in people's qualifications, skill sets, or actually getting what you think you're purchasing. So if you said, Abby, you've had a very successful virtual employee for 2 or 3 years now, she's great. Could we work with the same agency? That gives you a pre-vetted referral for a problem that is solved that you don't have to worry about losing money, wasting time, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. And I think that's a big thing too, is like these are all people that we really know and appreciate ourselves and maybe have even worked with that we would use as our solvers. And then we also give people options because we never want it to be like, okay, you want to get into more digital marketing and running Google ads. Here's just one option. We'll be like, oh, here's 3 people that align with your values in terms of how your business runs. So it's not just like, oh, this person gives us the best kickback, so we're going to hook you up with them. It's really, thoughtful on our end, even when it's a solver person we're connecting you with.
And the more specialized, they say the riches are in the niches, right? And the thing is, if you said, I want to get a publicist to get me on media, we have an agency that we work with in California that books people just on podcasts. And there are hundreds around the country of agencies. Abby and I used to own one that book people on media. But this company works so effectively with podcasts that they guarantee you a package of 5 or 8 a month, and they have 500 podcasters who they have a personal interaction and personal relationship with, so they can guarantee they're going to be published on time, they're going to be published at all, they're going to be quality. So we've pre-vetted a lot of things like that. But we also have an agency that we work with in New York that specializes in getting people in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Boston Globe, mostly large scale news media. And those bookings are like, $10,000 to $15,000 a piece. So that's not a good fit for anyone that's like, I'd just like to get in, my local paper in Denver. So it also is having a variance of targeting your solvers. If you want a virtual assistant that's going to run your bookkeeping, that's very different than looking for a graphic designer or a social media person. And so we've actually, through all of our clients, also been able to kind of say, what are your solutions in your business? Like if you say that your superpower is administrative stuff and you're very organized, we could say, okay, so to this point, who have you used for your creative solutions or your social media solutions? Because maybe we can give that person some love and really expand both our community, your community, obviously as a listener, but finding a variance of solvers that are specific to, I'm not just going to hire whatever PR firm is down the street and pay them a massive retainer and waste all my money. So solvers are a big thing because solvers are meant to save you time, but they're really meant to save you money.
Oh, for sure. And, I think hopefully save you money, but also just like saving you in terms of knowing that you're getting good value as well. Because I know it's like, you might want to pay more for someone who, has a ton of experience or has great value in what they're offering. So, it's kind of fun for us to connect with the solvers as well. And just quick shameless plug that if you're listening and maybe you're not a fit for our community, you're not a founder, a CEO, a co-founder, you can always, send us your info. We can set up a time to chat so you can be on our go-to solvers list if that's something that might be interesting to you. And then we might pair you up with some cool people. So let Andy and I know. You can just send us a message on LinkedIn. Super easy.
Well, and there are things like, I kind of dogged on it at the beginning, but there are things like those firms that reach out on LinkedIn that want to help you it's usually program an app, do email marketing, or do lead generation.
I get I know emails a day for someone wanting to do lead gen.
Yeah. Exact same. And like, I probably at some point might have a business where I like something. If you have a software or something that is low touch, but like lots and lots of users, like if you were selling a magazine advertising or something, like a service like that might be great. And I have several clients that could use that, but I've never been able to suss out a legit one because I get so many spam ones.
Oh my God. I think we should also do an episode on like how to stand out on LinkedIn. Because it is so awful out there. I can spearhead that one.
I just got in a habit of accepting everyone that gave me a friend request. I was just like, one day I'll publish something and more people will see it. But I never really realized those were all attached to a sales pitch. And I probably have 200 messages on LinkedIn unread. It's pretty bad.
Maybe we got to get you a VA. We'll hook it up. We'll solve it.
Here I am needing all the solvers. If any of you out there, though, are a legit lead generation or email marketing person, we have a really great email marketing person. But the same thing, scale. Some people can't afford it at that big enterprise level.
Oh, totally. So again, we'd love to chat with you if you think your services would benefit our Founderist community. And I feel like we should talk about the expanders. Honestly, I think that's where you and I have the most fun, where we get to brainstorm, who is going to help you really grow your business, who's going to support you, who's going to mentor you, who might even become one of your closest friends. I just want to give an example, and she's going to be on our podcast in a couple weeks. A therapist that, I have worked with now for 3 years. She specializes in singles, couples, everything in between. But we met, honestly, kind of randomly. I can't even remember how. I feel like, Andy, you might have even made that introduction.
Wow.
I don't know, though. We'll have to go back and remember that. But we have just continually sent business back and forth. We have helped each other's clients so much. And now we have this amazing friendship, too, that we get to celebrate. And we get to bitch about our businesses to each other when things are going not so great. And we get to celebrate the wins. So, that's really our goal for these expanders in your life. Obviously, you don't need to become best friends with all of them, but how much more fun is it to do business with people who become your friends rather than just people that you're like, yeah, okay, I'll send them this person.
And to me, there are, and without making, people love threes, so let's do three. There are a couple different kinds of expanders, right? There's one
Yeah.
that can be a referral partner for you. If you meet somebody that works in an area that is, like, for instance, I do a lot of beverage marketing. If I worked with the executive director of the state beer association, who like personally knows over 400 brewery owners, obviously that person can be a huge catalyst for me because they can get me a lot of business. Referral partners are great. But as Abby mentioned with the therapist, that's enhancing her service by having a matchmaking service for people that are dating, having a therapist that provides an ancillary service for them, creates content with you, puts on events with you. That enhances Abby's ability to deliver more value to her clients and garner more clients by having a more comprehensive service. And then the third one, I think, is kind of like the expanding your knowledge base. And that would be like a mentor or a board member or someone who helps train your team, train you, open up kind of your vision. And there's just so many ways that people just think about the dollars of, I just want to get clients. But if you got a ton of clients, you might not know how to scale to service them or how to make their experience good. It's really all about having people that can broaden your horizon. And it's also important to say somebody who speaks your language,
Mhm.
because oftentimes if I go to a networking event, I still feel alone in a crowded room because I don't feel like any of them work in my industry. I don't feel like any of them have my skill set or do the same kind of things as me. So if I start jiving with somebody about, Photoshop or something, and they're like, sorry, dude, I don't do that. Uh, you just still feel kind of like, oh, why did I come here?
Right. But then it kind of also makes you the most interesting person in the room, is the flip
Sometimes.
side. Like I have never gone to a networking event where there's been another matchmaker.
Well,
um,
you're always the most interesting person because you provide something that every human being wants.
well, thank you for saying that. Sometimes it's annoying. Andy knows I kind of hate being the center of attention, but as we've been recreating our matchmaking website, because Andy is my solver for that, he's like, no, we need more Abby. I'm like, okay, fine, fine. More cowbell. We'll make it happen. But the expanders too, I think a lot of people aren't sure exactly who these people are. So when you come to us thinking about, okay, who might an expander be, like, we'll talk through that with you. So don't feel like you have to entirely know. And today I'm going to do my talk and help people figure out who those people are. It's thinking about who are the people who have supported you the most, what types of businesses have sent you the most referrals, or like, how are you looking to grow and expand? Is there a business you want to model your business after? Like, I would bet that if you reached out to that person, you were like, hey, I think what you're doing is so cool. Can I hear more about how you got to where you are? Everyone loves talking about themselves, especially about their success. So I would bet that even if you're in like a semi, competing world, people would be open to it.
Did you see that Doritos ad during the Super Bowl that shit on the cowbell? It was like the
Yeah.
one where the musicians started playing the triangle and they go to the music store. They're like, we're totally sold out of triangles, but we've got some cowbells. Like, no, we don't want that. Uh,
Oh yeah, we
that's a
were talking
really great.
about that one. It's good. It's good.
A lot of people in sales circles talk about the Pareto principle, the 80-20 thing, where
Yeah.
20% of your revenue comes, or sorry, 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your clients. And oftentimes, some of the best expanders can be people that are your current clients that you've just never really asked for a referral before. So even having some kind of mentor or partner, or like Abby and I have worked with a lot of people in media management, and it makes it more legit to have, say, contact my publicist or have somebody else reaching out on your behalf, whether it's your assistant or something else. If you are booking yourself on podcasts or if you're doing sales, or in my case, uh, in marketing, a lot of clients don't want to look me in the eyes and tell me they don't like a design. If I do a logo, they don't want to tell the person who made it that they don't like it. So having a person in between, and that's a bad example because that's more of like an account manager, an employee, but you get that kind of mix of having insulation between who you intend to meet. And so I guess the point is your current clients can also be great expanders for you, and going through this process can teach you how on your own to also expand without having to spend time and money, because that's what this is all about.
Oh, totally. I mean, honestly, it's something that I didn't totally tap into, I feel like, until the past couple of years of, letting clients know, like, hey, send me your friends and we'll send you on a date, for my matchmaking business. Or for Founderist, if you're one of our members, you know what the deal is if you send us your friends. So, we're all about just spreading the love and connection and all of it. Because I think that's one of the things we touched on in another one of our episodes was that people are really looking for that deeper connection, and the expander type of people can definitely do that, where you're not just getting like stabbed by business cards and bombarded by sales pitches at a networking event. Like, that is never our goal.
And maybe in some future episodes, maybe when Abby's on maternity leave, I'll do a special one on doing expander programming. We have a contact that we both have worked with that he actually is a really great solver and expander, but he is an Instagram expert. And he's got a podcast with 300 episodes about Instagram and the algorithm and all the things. But he specializes in helping people do sales activities through giveaways. And so oftentimes it can be really great they say to, and Abby just mentioned, by having all of her clients bring a friend and then offering them something in return. Those are all people who already know your business, already have brand trust, social capital. Social capital is the big word in this industry. If they all refer a friend and you offer them something in return, they're getting a more enhanced experience that they already like. And the other person is immediately trusting us because their friend referred them. But this person that we work with does these campaigns where you offer up a giveaway where people give you their email, because email lists are very important right now. And you give away whatever your core offering is. So if I said I want everybody to hire me to design a logo, and I'm going to give away a free logo design worth $1,000, then a bunch of people sign up. Somebody wins. You get to do all the hype that there's a giveaway. Then you do the hype around the person that wins. But then you could turn around and offer all of those people a 20% discount or something. Sorry, you didn't get it, but now you're on my mailing list. Now you're part of my community. And this guy that we work with, who should definitely come on the live stream.
I was just going to say, why have we not had him on?
Derek has raised people, $70,000 or $80,000 off of offering their core service and spending a little bit of money on Facebook boosting. So there's a lot of ways that people can teach you how to expand yourself. And by us making intros to expanders, I think it'll also inspire you on how many people in your own life have already been expanders that you haven't tapped into.
Like, literally what just happened with Andy and I just now. We're like, oh my God, Derek, he's an expander. What are we doing? So Derek, if you're listening, I don't think you are, but we're going to invite you to come on the live stream and have some fun.
I wish I could remember what his podcast is called. It was Instagram Secrets for a little while, but he's really like an expert in that field.
Yeah.
And you guys will all love him. But we'll give you that free expander when he comes on the show, because he's also extremely knowledgeable and very charismatic.
Exactly. And I feel like we gotta, bring it home with, as usual, if you are not listening to the Founderist podcast, or maybe you're listening to the podcast and you're not watching the live stream, you need to go check it out, because we have the video on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, founderist.club. You can find it on there as well. What am I missing? And anywhere you can listen to a podcast, right, Andy?
Right. So we publish these same episodes, go live on all of the aforementioned platforms in video form, and then they live there afterwards. If you're looking on YouTube, you have to click live tab. The actually uploaded videos in the channel go to different places. So we've got 29 episodes now on our live tab, but all episodes publish in audio form where you listen to podcasts on the Tuesday following the Friday live stream. So if you want to listen to these episodes in your car, be sure to subscribe, and you'll get them on Tuesday, and you'll get all of the tips and insights from all of the exciting disruptors who we have on.
Ooh. And also, Andy, I just want to give you a shout out. and see how are things going with your book. I know you've been working on.
Oh my gosh. It's gone pretty well. I definitely have put my foot in my mouth of thinking that I could just be one of those people that cranks out a book and, oh, I do marketing for a living. I know my subject matter well. I should have no problem finishing it. And the editing process is much more difficult than I thought it was. And working with editors and there's a lot to it, and wanting to read all the way through a book. You read faster when it's something that you wrote, you know. All you guys out there that write an email and then read it 4 or 5 times before you send it, it flows when you speak in your own language. But when it's 300 pages long, it still takes time. So the book is coming out in March. That's only a few weeks away.
I was gonna say, are we sure about March?
Yep. Nope. We're on the final revision. I've
That's so
ordered
cool.
proof copies, a couple revisions now, and we've got it off to editing.
Awesome.
And that'll be cool. I kind of forgot that I did that. It was supposed to come out in November, so we're cruising along. I think it was actually supposed to come out in August, but this will just show you how long that process takes.
Right? I mean, we're all about being real on the live stream. It's like Andy and I are not perfect or not even close. And, when you write a book, I haven't done it. I know Andy's been encouraging me to, but I'm sure it's a very long process. Oh my gosh.
What about you? I mean, this is a spring of lovers, is it not?
It is the spring of lovers and the spring of, business connections happening. I feel like so many people are out and about, even though in Denver we just have like weekly snowstorms happening, keeping us inside. But yeah, in terms of matchmaking, I mean, things are cruising. And, I think I'm just glad that I get to continue matchmaking people until I have this baby. So who knows? Could be anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks from now.
So since we can go ahead and assume that 8 billion people on the planet are looking for some form of love or companionship, including everyone listening to this live stream, being a matchmaker for 4.5 years now, I can say that you have a lot of opportunity because of your website and your SEO to get new business. But what do you think it is about this year that has just been a landslide of people reaching out to a matchmaker? Because it seems like I can at least tell the people you have been hard to pin down time wise because you've got so many clients coming in.
I just opened up like 2 time slots on Saturday and Sunday mornings. I've been so busy because I literally cannot talk to everyone. And I'm in the process of training a new matchmaker, literally just for this issue.
Is it post pandemic? Is it pre-recession? Or is just the weather this year? What is it about people just really being fired up? Because we're past the New Year's rush and it
Yeah,
has not slowed down.
oh, totally. Because you got the New Year's rush, then you have Valentine's Day. You have the build up to Valentine's Day where people want to meet someone. Then you have after Valentine's Day where you're like, I didn't meet someone and now I still want to meet someone. So, there's always a reason to want to find connection and love for sure. But I have noticed too, like everyone now is like, okay, I'm putting the pandemic behind me. I am ready to meet someone. A lot of people have taken like 2 or 3 years off of dating just because it's complicated and annoying to deal with. So I think that has also been a big shift. And, I think even with the economy and whatever state it is in, based on what, the media tells us, I think people are still open to investing in finding love, whether that's going on a dating app, working with me, going to singles events. And I've also noticed too, there's been a lot of articles I've been reading that things are trending that people want to meet in more old school ways. So I am happy to say that matchmaking, will not be taken over by AI.
And for those of you in Colorado, since our primary headquarters starting out Founderist is in Colorado,
Yeah.
or those that want to come and visit here, we are talking about doing some in-person events this year. And obviously being able to meet up for coffee is cool. We're hoping every market can grow to a point where we can introduce you to other people in your market, if that's your prerogative. But we can pretty exciting energy to say that we have people across North America in Founderist already from I think from Montreal to San Diego. So we are having a very broad virtual community, and obviously this is a international possibility of business. But to all of our kind of founding members that came in that we knew personally or people that are here local, we're really excited to see some of the connections that people are making that are actually helping in-person businesses as well.
Exactly. And yeah, we'll be sharing testimonials of how those connections go. And again, if you're curious, I put the link to our application below this video. So check that out, click it. You'll fill out the application, then you'll schedule an interview with Andy or I, and we'll figure out if you're a good fit for the community. And you can ask us any questions you have. And then it's $7.99 for the year, which honestly, everyone's been telling us to raise our prices. But we want to make it accessible to people who are also just starting out in a business. So please let us know if we can help connect you with awesome humans, expanders, and solvers, because we'd be happy to.
And sign up for our mailing list so you can get information about our virtual speed networking events.
Yeah.
It only comes out once a week. It's not annoying. It actually has insightful, useful information.
Oh, well, thank you. That's my task
That's
in
Abby.
our relationship here. And yeah, March 2nd at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 12 p.m. Eastern is our next speed networking. That is virtual. It's like 45, 50 minutes. You'll meet at least 8 new humans. And last time, I think almost everyone matched and wanted to get to know each other more.
So cool.
Have a great Friday and a great weekend, everyone.
See you.